Welcome to day 6 in our glute and core mini challenge. Now, today, let's talk about how your core isn't just your abs. It's about how well your entire body moves together. So today we're gonna keep on integrating breathing and core stability with some added resistance so that when you lift heavier, your form will stay strong and efficient. This matters because we are going to work on reinforcing our glute and core connection to help strengthen deep core activation under a resistance load and help prepare you for more complex and powerful movements. All right, let's get ready to dive in. Try today's workout, comment below if you liked it. If you have questions, don't forget to tag me and share your progress. I will see you on your mat. Welcome back, day 6. Let's get started on our mat. I've got all my usual suspects. I did grab some squat wedges to show you today. I want to show you the difference it can make in your form if it's something you've never tried. And yes, maybe you have tried elevating your feet on dumbbells, but I want to show you what it can look like so you can consider them. Grab your yoga block. We're going to start with our narrow child's pose breathing. Remember, if we want to lengthen glutes and make space here, we've got to start with the back of our rib cage. Come on down onto hands and knees. Go ahead and flip the palms. Squeeze the yoga block as you start to protract through the shoulder blades. Now again, you can always bring your forehead down to the mat or stay nice and long. Start to come into your breathing, tongue to the roof of your mouth, jaw is gently touching, if not slightly apart. Nice inhale here. Exhale. Squeezing the block, shoulder blades are rounding and protracting, but I am not dropping and crunching. There's a difference between length and protraction and dropping and rounding the sternum. Okay, 4 more breaths here. Inhale. Shoulder blades, belly and back. Can you feel your pelvic floor lengthen on your inhale? Feel that part between your bottom. Think about breathing into your butthole. There's no other way to say that. Inhale again. One more for me. Breath into those shoulder blades. All right, nicely done. Meet me at the wall. We are gonna do 90-90. We're gonna progress it to a little bit more of a challenge. So grab your Pilates ball on your back, feet on the wall. So find that foot. Drag through the heels. When that pelvis just slightly lifts, we're going to be in contact with the ground. Nice big inhale, exhale all the air out. We can reach here. Inhale. Back is going to breathe into the ground. We're going to do 3 breaths like this. And then we're going to switch to a hemi or a single leg. All right, so make sure you've got your proximal hamstrings on. Take an inhale. On your next exhale, lift your right leg. Everything about this 90-90 stays the same, except we've increased the stimulus on a single leg. So left leg is dragging through the hamstring. Left leg is contact with the wall. Left inner thigh is squeezing that ball, and we should be feeling a lot more load on the left leg. Let's keep breathing here. Inhale. Exhale. Left lower ribs stay down. Don't let this leg, let that little bit of rotation happen. So you saw that new oblique exercise where we were working on those lower ribs, not losing contact. It's so subtle, you guys. I need you to really pay attention. It's not just these top ribs. It's these lower ribs. These ones bring our attention to it, but I need you to really think about this part below that. So between your low back and those middle ribs, can you feel your back in contact? Let's do 1 more breath here. Exhale. All right, shake it out. Let's set up again on 2 feet. I feel like that's always a good way to learn how to transition to this hemi. which is learning how to set up first, and then we'll transfer that load to the right leg this time. All right, inhale here. Exhale, set up for your 90-90 drag. All the air out, okay? Reach. Take one breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Go ahead and extend the left leg. So what I don't want to see happening is a hip popping out in any one direction or the other. We should have a stable pelvis as that leg switches support to a single one, which means we're going to get increased internal oblique. Internal oblique helps our front of our pelvis come back in space along with our hamstrings, right? This is what this whole exercise is all about, connecting pelvis to rib cage. And now we're challenging that in single limb support. We're increasing the load, we're increasing the challenge. Breathe in. Breathe out. Everything else is the same about this. We've just made it a little bit harder. 2 more. And lower on down. Awesome. I am feeling my hamstrings and lower core definitely working for me. Let's switch gears and open through that posterior now. So we've created some opening. We've got our hamstrings on board. This was a newer one for you, and we are going to do our kneeling hip shift. So yoga block underneath the knee. Come on, set up with that knee on and drop. If you need to, push yourself back over to that weighted side or that shifted side. And then pause here for a breath. Inhale. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, drop. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, drop. One more time. Exhale, lift up. Inhale to drop. And now we're going to breathe. Sometimes, honestly, I like to bring my hand to my rear end. I like to feel my sits bone. I like to really check in with feeling that shift happening. So breathe into the shoulders. We created our posterior expansion. We've done our hamstrings. We've got our obliques on. Can we breathe into this space? We always want to keep focusing on this. This is going to yield a lot of really great changes in our glutes. And if you struggle with posterior tension, constipation, butt clenching, all of these things, we've got to keep emphasizing this hip internal rotation here. Let's breathe one more time. And exhale. All right, let's switch to the opposite side. Shift that knee on top. Set up, lower down. Make sure you're shifted to that side first. Now, shifted doesn't mean I'm dipping my hip out, so I shouldn't see my hip popping out, but I don't want you like this. So shift over. We're in line. I'm going to exhale, inhale, exhale, take a moment, drop to that full shifted position. One more, and drop, inhale, stay and breathe. 3 breaths here. Breathe into the shoulder, so press the floor away. Lengthen that glute. See if you feel that sits bone just opening as we're bringing that hip back. So this is like our hip shift on the wall. You know, play around with this. See if you rock back just gently, if you feel a little bit different sensation. Everybody is different. Maybe you like to keep moving. You can even play with a little bit of our pelvic tilting that we've experienced and see how that feels as we're just trying to create some space through the back of that posterior capsule. All right, we've created our space. Let's get into a little bit more of our strengthening. We are going to work on our bear hover lift again. And I want to explore our serratus as well. So remember our scap push-ups. So grab your Pilates ball. Now, I'm going to show you with this against the wall. Remember, these can be really challenging, and our pelvis can just slowly start to tilt forward without us even realizing it. So let's set up at the wall. That's going to really just help you continue to engage those hamstrings. Bring the ball between the knees and start to drag through your feet. We're going to do 2 sets of this. So let's do the first set at the wall, and then you can experiment and just test the difference in your body. And sometimes that gives you some awareness of maybe you are losing that connection when you don't have those hamstrings or that pelvic position really nailed down. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag, press away. We've got our serratus on board. We're going to inhale, exhale, squeeze, and lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, press, squeeze, lift. Ribs back, pelvis on board. And lower. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze, lift. Inhale, lower. 2 more. Exhale, squeeze, lift. Lower. Inhale. 1 more. Exhale. Lower. Now, what we're going to try this switch is holding a bear hover for 5 breaths, and then we're going to up the ante 1 more time. Go ahead, lift and squeeze, and we're holding and breathing. Breath into the back. Remember our 90-90s where we have core tension on and it's building. We can't let our belly go. We're going to breathe into our back and into our sides of our rib cage. That is priming you for what needs to happen here in this core movement. 1 more. Good. While you take a break, let me explain and reinforce this concept. If I breathe too much to my belly, it's too much pressure here. And I'm also losing a lot of my core engagement. When we learn our 90-90, what we're also learning is how to breathe with core tension. Our abs turn on our exhale. Yes, we are emphasizing moving rib cage back and breath into the posterior. We're also learning how to breathe 360 when our core is on. And that is what really translates to a squat with a weight out front, goblet, front squat, back squat, any of those things. If we let all of that go, I have a heavy load and I just go, I'm going to lose all of this support and I'm going to start to feel those things in my back and other places we don't want. So we learn in the easiest way how to breathe with core tension. Okay, I want to challenge you 1 more time. You have 2 options here. You're going to set up in bear or you're going to stay on hands and knees, and we are going to do scat push-ups in a bear hover. Looks like this. Inhale, exhale, lift and squeeze, hold. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, let's set up. We're going to do 5 together. Inhale here. Exhale, squeeze, hamstrings, pelvis, rib cage on board. Inhale, drop the shoulders. Exhale, press away. Those knees are just gently hovering off the floor. Micro bend in the elbows. One more. Squeeze that ball. Let that help your lower core turn on. Nice. Let's grab a quick break, and then I'm going to spin sideways on my mat. I also want you to try it away from the wall and see if you notice a difference when you do have your hamstrings helping you a little bit with that wall reference or not. And it is going to be another level up of challenge. So we are going to do 8-second bear hover or 8-breath bear hover. Take a break, and then we are going to do bear hover or hands and knees scat push-ups again. All right, grab that ball, set up, bear hover, hold and breathe. Breathe here and here so we can't just breathe to the front. If I just let everything go, that's gonna happen to me. All right, inhale here, start to set up, exhale. Neck is long, gaze forward and down, hold and breathe. Inhale, small exhale. Let's call it 1 more breath. Nice. Sit back, shake it off. Okay, quick rest. We are going to either bear hover and scat push up, or you're going to leave your knees down and you're really going to focus. So if you're trying to hover and do this and your pelvis is tucking and dipping, you need to work on that stability a little bit more, and that's totally fine. I just want to offer you some different places where we can work depending on your level. All right, hands underneath shoulders, knees under Hands underneath shoulders was right. Then I said knees under wrists, knees under hips. Let's go. Inhale, exhale, press away. You can also choose to just hold a bear hover here, but we are going to scap, push up. Inhale, exhale, press. Core draws in. Ribs are back. Check that pelvis. Awesome. All right, keep your ball. Flip over onto your side. We're gonna go into our modified side plank again. So you were introduced to this yesterday. We're gonna keep seeing the same exercises. Let's practice it again if it was new for you, and then we're gonna level up when you see them again. So elbow underneath shoulder. Everything is the same, squeeze and zip. Inhale here, exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Play around with how you feel in your placement. I have found that 45-degree angle, anywhere from including a straight line, some people feel a better connection. So play around with that. Lower, inhale, exhale, lift. Lower. Slow and purposeful doesn't mean it's easy. We don't need to be repping out a ton of things with speed. I'd rather you feel that isolated, slow connection and do less reps. Let's do 2 more. Feel the core, feel that lower glute. 1 more. Squeeze. All right. We flip. Let's go. Inhale, exhale, zip, and lift. Lower glute. Lower. Zip. Ribs in line. Check yourself on this top rib. This happens a lot. Exhale, the rib comes down and back. Remember, back. If you need to, you can think about a reach here, or you can bring your hand to that rib cage. 1 more. Awesome. All right, we are going to do our bridge with our adductor and our squeeze and zip. So we are really dialing in the core work, even though this is a low loaded bridge. Drag through those heels. We're gonna do 10. Inhale here. Remember, inhale here in the rib cage, exhale, zip. Ribs last. So we're learning what the core strategy continues to look like with glutes in more complex movement. If you flipped this movement the opposite, it'd be the same thing in a squat. Don't minimize the importance of really reinforcing these concepts in basic movements. Breathe back here, breathe into the ground. Two more. One more. And lower down. Nice work. Okay, let's check out squatting. We've been working with a lighter weight, so if you feel up to it, I'd encourage you to try heavier. I want to show you squat wedges as I'm going to come into this. So we're going to squat to the bench. I'll just show you side by side, even on me. I'm somebody who resonates more forward in anterior position. I told you that. If I goblet, that's going to help me get back. Squat, not too bad. Been working on it. Come up onto this ramp. Look how much easier it is for me to keep my center of mass in line. So definitely a worthwhile investment. If you struggle with squatting and you have for a while, these techniques are going to continue to help us work on it, and this is going to help with that shift posterior. So grab your weight, goblet hold, inhale here, exhale, squat to the bench, and come on up. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Upright, ribs, pelvis connection. That is that diaphragm and pelvic floor getting to work together to manage pressure. One more. Okay, take a break. We're gonna take our squat and we are gonna move it in a different, similar direction, new stimulus. We're gonna work on an iso hold. That would be a mid-range hold. That's what we'll wrap up with today. Okay, so we are going to hold a weight light to moderate. We're gonna lower down to our halfway point. When we are there, that is hip internal rotation in a squat. So when we squat, we move from external, internal, external at the pelvis. And all of those movements at the pelvis and the femur correspond to what can happen at your pelvic floor. So we're gonna squat, we're gonna hold for a few breaths, and we're gonna work on breathing. And I want you to work on breathing into your back in that mid-range. And I want you to see if you feel your sits bones, feel that breath traveling into them in that iso squat. So with or without wedges, I'll show you with, because I have them out. Go ahead, grab your weight, put it out in front. Inhale, exhale, ribs, back and down. Lower down halfway. Hold here. Breathe. Can't breathe to your belly in this front-loaded position. Breathe lateral and back. Feel your glutes. Feel your sits bones spreading. Feel your core. Come on up. Set that weight down. Shake it out. Okay, a little bit longer today on our timing. That's okay. Important concepts to really explore. Let's do it one more time, and then we will finish up for our 6th day. Iso hold. So if it was really challenging to you, you can certainly hold on to an anchor. If you have a door handle, something that's sturdy, if you have a TRX, if you have multiple heavy resistance bands, hold on to them, let your arms reach, and I want you to just hold that iso like that. So if this was higher, I could certainly just hold on to my bench. Not too bad here. I'd like to be a little bit higher, ideally. So you're gonna hold and breathe. All right, let's do it one more time. Grab your weight, grab something to support yourself on. Inhale, exhale, ribs down and back. Inhale, lower down, hold, breathe here. Breathe into the sits bones. Feel them expand. One more. Squeeze on up through the heels, glute connection. Nice job today. Shows you that simple can be effective. Let's wrap it up. I look forward to seeing you back on day 7.